James Lennis, welcome to the tasting table. This wine is next. This is by Domaine Carneros. This is Verméil, and this is a Demi-Sec wine, 2017 vintage. Stay tuned, I'll give my thoughts, perspectives, and point score on this wine. So here we go. Obviously, this is Verméil. This is a Demi-Sec 2017 vintage. And so here's a back label for you to look at here. And this is a composition of 54% estate grown Pinot Noir and 46% estate grown Chardonnay. And the dosage is 2.4% or 24 grams per liter. You really could call this a sec wine, SEC, but they're terming this as a Demi-Sec. And perhaps it's a stylization or tradition. The word Demi-Sec is much more understood in the marketplace because there's much more of that than, say, sec wines, SEC. And so you see Demi-Sec much more often. So I've had some amazing Asian food, Asian French food in Champagne itself. And so this wine would pair well with that. In addition to that, you can do foie gras, you can do blue cheese, you can do dessert with this wine, you can do Asian foods, of course. And so I think it's really harmonious and beautiful. And one where, you know, I am on high alert for wines that are going to be, you know, super sweet or something that, you know, I know that this is not a DOUX wine, which is the 50 gram per liter wine. And so that would have a different characterization altogether. This tends to be much more, I would say, restrained and much more appreciable. Now, when you get this wine, and I do recommend giving it a try, but what I'm going to say is if you're kind of on the fence about sugar levels, you should definitely try this out when you visit Domaine Carneros, and I definitely recommend a visit. And you can, you know, taste this wine and see if this is your style. So here we go. Let me give you some characterization. Now let me tell you about the nose. This is a nose of passion fruit, pear confit, hazelnut, and flower bunch. Next is a palate characterization. So I appreciate the palate because it is fresh. I'm also tasting creaminess on the wine, some acidity. I'm tasting that hint of sweetness, which is, you know, definitely not a cloyingly sweet wine at all. And so this is a hint of sweetness in terms of layers and freshness of dried apples, pear, passion fruit, pine nut, and white floral. This is a 94-point wine out of 100 points. So there are producers in the New World that use the word Cremant, Demi-Sec. And I would say the most correct thing to say is Demi-Sec if that is the gram attribute per liter, and to not use it if that's not the case. Now, the reason I make a bigger deal out of this is it's important to think about the 8 regions that are Cremant regions in France. And those Cremant regions are not, you know, sparkling wine regions that are Demi-Sec style. They're going to be a variety of styles and everything from Brut Nature and probably even some Demi-Sec. Now, that is the very distinctive regions, which I think is, first of all, when I think of regions that use the word champagne that is not champagne, that's not something that I think is a good thing to do. It shouldn't be done. And yes, it is done here, especially in the United States, with, I would say, several producers who are allowed to use the word champagne, even though they're not in the champagne area. It's a vestige of previous times and traditions in the US where you call out a old world name for a new world wine product that has nothing to do with the old world at all. And in my research, some people have referred to that champagne was called Cremant. I have not seen any indication that's the case. There is a commune, and the commune is called Cremant with an A, C-R-A-M-A-N-T. It is not Cremant, and it's also not a style of wine that comes from the Champagne region either. So I find that to be very fascinating. So I just want to clarify that, because if you see some Cremant wines, say Bordeaux or Alsace or Loire, definitely pick them up. They're delightful wine. And so I just wanted to make a comment about that. So when you're thinking about these wines, this is the true and best usage, and the term here applied on the Domaine Carneros is correct. I like to see producers just use that term altogether because it really helps to clarify and not confuse other wine regions. So a lovely, delightful wine. And so I think it's going to pair well with so many delicious, delightful foods. And to enjoy with cheeses and charcuterie is also very, very nice. So thank you for watching. You'll find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and WordPress, and I will see you very soon. So I'd appreciate it very much if you share this video with people interested in wines, maybe friends and family members, and are really on their path to discovering wine. So thank you again for watching. I will see you very soon in the next video review of wine and wine accessories and much more. Stay tuned.